Yellow!
Hey bud, what's up?
Oh, just getting going here.
Place a disaster?
Oh yeah, big time, bud.
Let's make this happen.
Sounds good.
I'll be up front. Bye.
Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs. Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs.
Thanks, everybody.
Through the gates to tame the throne, onto where we see our home. Attempts are sure, intention stirred, intimidation dies in turn. Aligning for the light beyond, embracing firm upon our dawn.
It's Ryan's spot of the week. It's Ryan's spot of the week.
This week, very important topic. I wanted to talk about time travel. Is it real or is it possible? You know, there's many questions and, you know, maybe, just maybe, we can find a DeLorean and hit 88 miles per hour and boom, you know, we're back to the future. I've thought about this quite a few times. Maybe we will invent time travel, and that's the issue. It hasn't happened yet. So, you know, 1 week from now, let's say it gets created, and for some reason, a time traveler can only come back to the date when the time machine was invented. So it's basically impossible to go back any further. This idea is based on if the time machine is more like a portal system, you know, sort of like that wickedly awesome, retardedly awesome movie Time Cop. John Claude motherfucking damn bitch. people are gonna come back and they're gonna start warning us about using 3D TVs and how basically it's gonna cause mass blindness and stupidity and basically ruin movies for the next few years. So maybe the issue with time travs is that you can only go ahead, you can only go to the future, not back. Big brainers out there like old Stevie Hawking, you know, he's basically saying that it's theoretically possible to time travel to the future. Stephen Hawking talks a lot about the train idea, you know, it goes around the earth so fast, almost the speed of light, and you know, you get off the train after a week of going the speed of light, 50 years has gone by, and you can't even drink schooner anymore because schooner's obsolete. And then you probably commit suicide. So how can you go back to the past? It just seems ridiculous. I mean, even if you asked a toddler about it, you know, I'm sure they'd probably tell you. Just thinking about going to the past, it's gonna like Vulcan mind melt the shit out of your brain. Maybe someone already did come back. Maybe someone's here now. So the only way to figure that shit out is to watch episodes of the McDons House, and I'm pretty sure there's an ep in there somewhere along the way that's gonna tell you about that. Let's go find out what some other people think on the subject. This should be interesting. Hey, excuse me, guys.
Yeah.
Do you think that time travel exists and that we just don't know about it? Like there's time travelers here right now?
It's funny that you say that. We were just talking about that like 5 minutes ago.
I mean, it's great breakfast conversation, time travel.
And afternoon conversation too.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're ever just looking for something to say in that awkward silent moment, time travel. You know?
And it always seems to happen around like 4:20. At any, you know what I mean?
The mystery furthens.
Totally.
Furthens. That's a new word. All right, thanks, guys.
You betcha. Have a lovely day.
See you later, spaceman.
Hi there. You guys still have the pizza combo? You still have the pizza combo, or?
No.
Are you guys getting that back again in the summer, or you don't know? I'll just get a cheeseburger then. Only ketchup? The bacon cheeseburger? You got any of them snack size McFlurries? I'll get a Smartie. You guys don't have the pizzas anymore?
Pardon me?
You don't have the pizzas anymore?
We haven't had those in years.
So my best bet's to find a time machine and just go back and stock up on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or somewhere in the States, but I know in Canada we haven't had them in years.
Okay, I'll try to figure out the time machine thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Yeah, we just got to try to find some more people and, you know, just find out and get their opinions, and maybe there's somebody around here. And oh, there we go. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Could you just come over here for a sec? If time travel exists, do you think that maybe you could go back in time to visit like the baby Jesus and be like the fourth wise man? Maybe bring him like a PS9 from the future?
Like the Jesus?
Yeah, like we're talking like baby Jesus, you know, with the star of Bethlehem. And
I'd say for sure.
yeah, you would do it?
That's something that needs to be done in this day and age.
There you have it. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Keep fit, have
take
fun.
care.
Yeah. Jesus. Could I get the bacon cheddar cheeseburger with only bacon and cheese, please? And also, if I told you that I was a time traveler from the year 90210, would you believe me?
No.
No? Maybe?
No.
You don't think it's No? Okay, thanks.
Do you want fries with that?
Yeah, fries well done, please.
Any gravy?
Yeah, I'll get gravy. And time travel. Thank you.
And time travel?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the D-Link. Cool, thanks. Also, I'm just wondering, is it possible that Future Shop in itself, it's kind of like a time-traveling machine, like the whole shop, and that you guys just get all the products from the future, like right in the store, like it's coming from the future?
Only on Tuesdays.
Oh, okay, so check back next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking for, like, you know, the i7, you know.
Why not the i9?
That's a good point. We'll check back Tuesday.
That's farther in the future.
We'll check back Tuesday.
Okay.
There's one video in particular that I've come across on YouTube. Some of you people may have seen it. It's about a man named Hakan Nordqvist. And he essentially says that it was August 30th, you know, nice and hot day. He comes home after a hard day's work, finds a bunch of water on the kitchen floor, and he basically gets his tools, opens up the doors of the sink, starts to work, and then he realizes all of a sudden he has to crawl in a bit deeper to get at some pipes, and it just continued, and he keeps kind of crawling in further to the cabinet, And when he gets in there, he sees a big shot of light, and all of a sudden he realizes he's in the future. And apparently, he says that he meets himself at 72 years old. You know, it's 2042, and he said he did a bunch of tests on the guy. Like, he asked him, you know, where did I hide my stuff? Certain scores to weird soccer games that were important to him, stuff like that. But the weird thing is, he had the exact same tattoo. He looked like him. His tattoo was faded, you know, because he was an old man. And he said nobody would believe him except for the fact that he had his friggin' phone with him and takes a video. And you see them in this field, and it's like, you know, is it the guy's dad? Or did this guy discover time travels, you know? He doesn't understand it, but he swears it happens, and he swears it's true, and he doesn't give a flying shit if you believe him or not. So I'm gonna try it myself. I'm going into the sink. Here goes nothing. Nice. Whoa, something's happening under here! Ah. Hey, can you tell me what year it is?
2008.
It worked!
It's Ryan's spot of the week. It's Ryan's spot of the week. There's a plane I left
Hey, some stupid motherfucker threw a water balloon up here. Don't be throwing your fucking shit up here, you faggot ass motherfucker!
The Whacker!
Mark's made a list of the best albums in the history of the human being. Records we all should talk about. An album we could all listen to this week.
Man of shit, man of piss, man of beautiful. Could be a future song by the band Men. And I'll tell you, if that comes to fruition, it'll be because of this album right here. Number 24 in the history of the human beings. Friggin' best album right here by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And I find that's a little bit weird because I always thought the first album was the best album. But when you think of this is a 3-record set. This holds a lot of stuff, so it kind of overpowers a lot of the original stuff. So what do we say here? Emerson, Lake and Palmer, a super group of sorts maybe? One of the greatest progressive rock groups ever, or the brunt of a lot of bad jokes. You take your pick on where you stand on that one. I'll tell you, man, for a good part of the 1970s, Emerson, Lake and Palmer were my second favorite group. And that's saying quite a bit, because the 70s was a pretty rockin' decade, I must say. So, friggin' right, man, we gotta think about stuff here for a minute so I don't lose my train of thought and all that. So Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now there's something about this album that freaks me out. The versions on 90% of this album are better than the studio versions. And that's saying quite a lot, because if you think of it, their first freaking, 5 or 6 albums are incredible and stuff like that. Hard to beat. But this is the freaking shit, man. So how do we friggin' put this into... Okay, there's lots of things we can be talking about here, but first, how did I discover this album? It came out, I think it was August 1974. It's a triple album. I think it retailed for like $14.99 at the time. I didn't have my paper out yet. So I was pretty broke, and I was kind of like, not every live album by bands that was coming out at that time was like great. So I was a little hesitant, to tell you the truth, because I'll tell you, the first live album is good, but it's not great. So this is the second one. Friggin' comes out. Kind of debating, but there's other stuff. I'll tell you, I think it was in September, a month later, CBC on a Thursday night after supper in the early evening played the lead-off song on this album, version of Aaron Copland's Hoedown from his rodeo. And man, oh man, if you think the version on the Trilogy album is good, this is the version. I'll tell you, on the strength of hearing that one freaking 3.5-minute song that started off this album, I went up and bought this album at Zeller's on Main Street. I put some friggin' money down and it was a layaway. I paid a little bit each week for about a month until I could finally get this guy home. And man, Hoedown might have started the album, but boy, to go right into Jerusalem next. As Greg Lake said, we're gonna give you some brain salad surgery. And then Jerusalem, and then Toccata that follows. If you think the version is heavy on brain salad surgery, check out the version on this. I'm surprised that this, where I already got my song listing figured out for the top 100, I'm surprised Toccata's not in it, because that's almost sass, because that song rules the world. In fact, the guy that wrote Toccata, he's a famous, I think a Swiss composer, not sure, but he's a composer named Genestetta. And when he heard their version of it, he freaked out. At first, the band thought he was mad at them for the version they did. But no, he was freaking out because he had never heard such an interpretation of his work done by 3 young freaking, just past their teens out of England and stuff like that. So he flipped out. Holy shit, that's just side 1 of the album. Side 2 and side 3 is the song Tarkus. They couldn't even fit it all on one freaking side. And I think Tarkus is made up of many parts, but the second last part is called Battlefield. And they incorporate a little bit of King Crimson's Epitaph into Battlefield because Greg Lake was the original singer for King Crimson. And this is a neat little bit of trivia here, people, because I'll tell you, the band Bad Religion started a label called Epitaph. And for people that are pretty well in the know, they think, well, they got that from the King Crimson song. Well, I'll tell you something. With an interview with either, Jay Bentley or Greg Graffin or Brent Gurwitz, he said it was from an Emerson Palmer live album, so he got the real version. I'll tell you, we're talking with stuff here. So there, and then it goes on to Take a Pebble with piano improvisations. Friggin', they even put a bit of Still You Turn Me On in there. And that brings us till about side 4 or 5, and then the version of Carnival 9 that finishes off this album, which is, almost freaking 80% brain salad surgery. And there we go. And the version on this is just more incredible. I can't believe it. I'll tell you, people, there's 2 things. There's 2 bands in 1974 that friggin' were the shit if you wanted to get your mind blown. There was lots of great bands in 1974 that could put on a great live concert, but only 2 bands could blow your mind. And that was Emerson Palmer, and this is the tour that it was from, and Hawkwind. And I'll tell you, if you saw any of those bands without knowing what you're prepared for and you did a head of acid, you would be in for one hell of a trip. That's all I can say. This is serious, serious stuff. So, some people spell pretentious ELP. Well, I don't. I spell ELP as being one of the friggin' greatest progressive rock groups in the world. And this is the true testament of here. I don't know if I'm even up to 7 minutes because it's all wild and there's people staring and we got some rock and rolling going on here. And we have Kyle Men of the band Men in the House. So maybe I should just stop here, but I'll tell you, maybe we should just take a pause to see if I forgot anything. No, I think we're going to have to just leave it at that. So there you go, people. Friggin' 6... Okay, one other thing I wanted to mention. In the 6 sides it takes to listen to this album, you could almost friggin' get halfway through a game of Monopoly. And my buddy Kenny Cormier will attest to that one. Remember that, Kenny, back in the 70s? So there you go. Emerson Palmer, the 24th best album in the history of the human being. And incidentally, this would be the 3rd best live album ever by the band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I'm going to say. Number 24.
Mark's made a list of the best albums in the history of the human being. Records we all should talk about. An album we could all listen to this week. Let's go to the McDons house. Let's go to the McDons. Let's go to the McDons house and play some songs.
Thanks, everybody.